Greetings, Guardians. Welcome back to Olympus Alliance. Today we continue our journey into one of the most important long-term skills in hero wars, team building through strong, reliable cores. If you watched part 1 of this series, you already understand the philosophy behind this approach. We are not here to give you rigid teams that only work against specific counters. We are here to give you foundations. Hero combinations with deep synergy that stay relevant even when the meta shifts, twists, and evolves. Building cores instead of chasing full teams allows you to grow your account intelligently. You invest once, then adapt around what you already have. You save resources. You gain flexibility. And most importantly, you gain control over how your roster develops over time. In the first video, we explored 3 extremely powerful cores, JJI from the Progress faction, Axa from Chaos, and one of the most meta-defining duos in the game, Polaris and Folio, often called Polio. In this second installment, we're expanding that foundation by introducing 3 more highly effective cores that cover very different playstyles and strategic needs. Today we'll break down the Dantavia Eternity Dodge core, the BAMM Nature core, which is quickly evolving into BAMM, and finally, one of the most consistent and dominant cores the game has seen over the last year and a half, the Ashen twins, Kayla and Aiden, also known as Kaden. Let's start with the first core of today's guide. The Dantavia Dodge core, built around Dante and Octavia. Together, Dante and Octavia form one of the most elegant and deadly synergy engines in the game. Their entire design revolves around dodge, increasing their own dodge values while also boosting dodge for the entire team. Every part of their kit either reinforces survivability through evasion or disrupts enemy momentum long enough for their engine to spin up and become lethal. What makes this core so dangerous is how quickly it becomes effective. Even in the early game, unprepared opponents will struggle to land hits. Attacks miss. Energy generation spikes. Dodge triggers accelerate ability usage. And before the opponent understands what's happening, the fight is already slipping out of their control. This is not a burst core. It is a momentum core. Once it gets moving, it becomes increasingly difficult to stop. One of the biggest advantages of Dantavia is how efficient it is to build. You don't need complex stat spreads or heavy defensive layering. You focus primarily on physical attack, with enough health to ensure survivability at your current progression level. Their skills scale cleanly with these priorities, and their artifacts naturally support the same direction. This means you can build Dantavia quickly and cheaply, making it an excellent option for both newer accounts and experienced players looking to add a high-impact defensive core to their arsenal. If you want a deeper breakdown of how to build Dante and Octavia efficiently, we've already covered that in Olympus Alliance's low-cost Eternity build guides. So how do you expand the Dantavia core? One strong option is to go fully into Eternity by adding Corvus for tanking and battlefield control, Morrigan for disruption, and Iris as the primary damage dealer. Iris thrives in this environment because the constant debuffs and pressure created by the rest of the team allow her damage to ramp up immediately. From the very first seconds of the fight, the opponent is under sustained stress. Another powerful direction is to build a crit-based dodge line. Heroes like Yasmin, Hus, Sebastian, Lara Croft, or Oya can slot in beautifully. This variation is especially dangerous on both offense and defense. One important detail here, if you choose Hus, make sure Dante is equipped with his first talisman, which grants critical hit chance. This allows Hus to fully capitalize on crit interactions and dramatically improves the sustain of the team. Now let's move to our second core, one that represents raw magical pressure and explosive frontline destruction. BAMM, Mushy, Alvanor, and Mojo. This nature-based core is all about frontal magic damage, healing, and magic penetration. When built properly, BAMM doesn't slowly wear opponents down, it melts them. Tanks disappear in seconds. Front lines collapse. And if the opponent can't respond immediately, the fight ends very quickly. However, BAMM's relevance in the current meta has been supercharged by the arrival of Byrna. With Byrna in the game, BAMM begins to evolve into BAMM, and this evolution dramatically increases the core's lethality. Byrna amplifies healing, scaling, and sustaining ways that make Mushy, Alvanor, and Mojo significantly more dangerous than before. The trade-off with MAM or BAMM is investment. These heroes need to be built properly before they reach their full potential. Health, magic attack, and magic penetration are all critical. Mushy, in particular, requires a high armor investment to function as a frontline tank against physical teams. But the payoff is immense. Once built, this core delivers extremely high impact and explosive fights. In the right matchup, the enemy front line can be erased within seconds of the battle starting, leaving the rest of the team completely exposed. So who do you add to MAM or BAMM? One of the strongest current options is Somna. Adding Somna turns BAMM into an excellent Kayla counter, which is extremely valuable in the current meta. Control, disruption, and timing all work in your favor. Alternatively, if you're facing particularly resilient progress teams, you can add heroes like Kaden or Hus for additional healing and survivability. Orion is another strong option, providing near-constant magic penetration and sustained pressure. Astrid can also be added to help Mushy tank more effectively while contributing to frontal pressure. This core is incredibly fun to experiment with, so don't be afraid to try different combinations and see what fits your roster best. One important tip here: if you plan to add Hus to MAM or BAMM, make sure the heroes involved have their second talisman equipped. These talismans add magic, critical chance, which Hus relies on heavily to trigger his healing effects consistently. Without crits, Hus underperforms. With them, he becomes a powerful sustain engine. Now we move to our third and final core of today's video, one that will be familiar to almost every experienced player. The Ashen twins. Kayla and Kaden. Often called Kaden. This core has been a dominant presence in the meta for roughly the last 18 months, and for very good reason. Kayla and Kaden have one of the strongest mutual synergies in the game. They can even revive each other after one of them falls, creating incredible resilience in prolonged fights. But their power goes far beyond resurrection. Kayla does most of her work deep inside the enemy formation, absorbing damage from multiple opponents at once. This makes her incredibly dangerous, but also extremely vulnerable without support. That's where Kaden comes in. His massive shields are often the difference between Kayla dominating the fight or falling early. In battles that last longer than 30 seconds, Kaden's presence becomes critical. And even if Kayla does go down, Kaden's durability often ensures her resurrection shortly afterward. Together, they form one of the most punishing duos in the game. Both heroes are excellent long-term investments. Kayla thrives on physical attack. Kaden scales with magic attack and health. And both benefit heavily from glyph investment, making them ideal candidates for spending blue rune spheres efficiently. So how do you expand the Kaden core? One option is to lean fully into chaos, unlocking multiple faction buffs. A lineup like Astaroth, Zesha, Kaden, Kayla, and Peach combines the relentless scaling of Axa with the explosive damage of Kayla and Peach. Another powerful approach is to integrate Kaden into the JJI shielding core. Julius, Judge, and Isaac provide protection and stability, while Kayla and Kaden add explosive kill potential. And at the very top of the arena ladder, many players will tell you that Julius, Kayla, Kaden, Polaris, and Folio is one of the most difficult teams to deal with. dual damage threats, layered control, and an incredibly solid defensive base make this composition extremely oppressive. So, Guardians, there we have it, a full overview of the Dantavia Dodge Core, the MAM or BAMM Nature Core, and the Kaden Chaos Core. Each offers a different strategic identity. Each rewards smart investment. And each gives you flexibility to adapt without rebuilding your account from scratch. Which core you choose depends on your roster, your resources, and your personal playstyle. Watch out for the next installment in this team building series, and let us know in the comments which cores you'd like us to explore next. Stay tuned, stay sharp, and as always, salute and friendship.